in the network of Dave Ramsey's trusted advisors, but you don't work for Dave Ramsey. You are your own independent wealth manager. Veritas is stands on its own. So, and I say that for two reasons. One, there are people that, believe it or not, don't like Dave Ramsey, and I don't want you to think, oh, this guy. No, I don't want that. But the truth is, I mean, you're accountable. You're a professional, but you're accountable to these guys, and that's the value they bring you. Why wouldn't the rest of us want something like that?
Yeah. If Michael Jordan had a coach, I probably need a coach too, you know? So, I mean, it takes a little bit of, actually not a little, it takes a lot of humility. In fact, Morgan Housel, who's a tremendous author, again, not faith-based, but he has a lot of wisdom. One of the things he says is one of the number one things to building wealth is keeping your ego lower than your income. And
I like
and
that.
that's a different way of saying living beneath your means. And that seems so simple, but nobody does it. Humility is a very, very important part of building financial independence and using your money, not to just bless you, but bless other people around you, which is really fundamentally, I think, what our blessings were designed to do. Real quick, in Leviticus 19, everybody's favorite book of the Bible, Leviticus, there's actually really good stuff in there. Leviticus 19, it talks about planting your fields to maximize what it can produce, but to leave the margins, leave the edges of your
Yeah.
field for those around you. It's literally living is living with margin, which so few people do. It takes humility to do that because, keeping up with the Joneses used to be the people on our street. Now it's anybody in the world you can compare your life to, and to drive an old car because you're trying to pay down your debt, or to live in a smaller house because you want to get that paid off before 50 or whatever the goal is. Like, you have to swallow your pride a little bit and to admit, hey, I don't know, I'm going to get some help in this. Like I said, with the marriage thing, there is a um, way of looking at that, where it's like, yeah, like my marriage isn't in bad enough shape to get counseling. Well, think about it like coaching then. Don't think about like I'm going off the rails, I need to get back on. Think of like, okay, you might be in really good shape, but could you be coached to be better? Do it for your marriage and do it for your finances. Shoot, do it for your health too. But in
Yeah.
any area, we have to have the humility to say, you know what? There's things about this that I don't know. I would like to get better because this area of my life is so important. I don't want to neglect it.
Yeah, that's so powerful. So, talk a little bit about the book, and I'm setting up, but obviously, not everybody can get to Alaska in order to spend time with you. The good news is, for those of you who don't know this, Chad's business is, all over the country. He's not limited geographically. I don't know what the licenses say, but you know all about that. But he's not just a bunch of Alaskan guys, in flannel shirts and blue jeans. He is that, but you could be anywhere just about and avail yourself. But you also wrote a book, so clearly you've got a passion to get some of this wisdom out for people. So tell us about the book. The title of it, by the way, I just mentioned earlier, but say it again: Forging Financial Freedom. It is available. I was checking online earlier, obviously on Amazon. It's on a bunch of other online book sales. I'd imagine some of the old-fashioned kind of bookstores. Tell us why you wrote it, but really, what's the point? What are you trying to get across, and what's the summary of it? I want people to buy the book, because I think that they'll benefit from it. But tell them enough to make them hungry.
Well, a lot of people think that financial independence, building financial strength, and really wealth, meaningful, sustainable wealth, that it's unattainable for some people. Maybe you don't have the education, you don't have the background. Maybe you didn't learn this stuff growing up. Maybe you don't think you're intelligent enough. Maybe you don't think you earn enough money. I want to take those excuses away because being a financial steward is more of a character thing than an education thing, than an intelligence thing. It's certainly more than a pedigree thing. I mean, I talk to executives and professionals who make seven figures and are living paycheck to paycheck in complete scarcity. And we've got truck drivers and mechanics who make $60,000-$70,000 a year and are multimillionaires. It's not about how much of a tool you're given, it's how well you utilize it that makes the
Mm-hmm.
difference. So there's a lot of books and podcasts out there that give you different steps to build financial independence. I wrote a book about the mindset, the relationship with your money, with finances, with your future, really, because all those steps take time. Now, some of those steps work better than others. I mean, we mentioned Dave Ramsey. I very much believe in his system, even if you don't like the personality, the principles, the principles
It's
come out of,
still, it works.
and it's been working for about 3,000 years because those
Exactly.
principles
Comes right out of scripture. That's
comes
right.
out of Proverbs. Yeah. So it's not Dave's ideas, God's ideas. So they work, and there's other ones that work too. There's a lot of different pathways, but the pathway is long and it's arduous. It's difficult. And without the right mindset, very few people are going to stay on the pathway long enough to get the results. So I wrote a book dealing with some of the psychology and the emotions and the relationship that goes into all these things, because it's really hard to act right if you don't think right.
You know, it's interesting. One of the things that I've been working on now for about the last 35, 40 years is a theology of work, because it's the same problem.
Mm.
Christians don't think biblically about work. They view it as a necessary evil. They view it as the way they make a living so they can go do ministry elsewhere. They don't see it all integrated. The mindset is the same issue in the marketplace as it is in the financial market. So I love that that's where you went, and that alone is enough for me to get the book and read it, because I know the steps, I know the plans, and I'm with you, by the way. I'm a Dave Ramsey fan. His snowball program is a brilliant way for the people in debt to get out of debt. That's just one example. But to think rightly is how you keep from getting back in trouble. You learn how to think about business. You learn how to think about money. You learn how to think about all of this. That's how God changes us, right? Romans 12, the renewing of our mind. Not the memorizing of a principle, but the renewing of the way I think, changing me from the inside out.
You just touched on so many things. So Romans 12:2 is what you're referencing. And it says to be transformed by the renewing of our mind, not conformed to the world. And that's why I wrote the book, because so many people are being conformed to the world's way of doing things. We need transformation in our mind to start acting differently. Otherwise, we're going to get the results that the world is getting, which is broke, paycheck to paycheck, buried in debt, anxiety, all the other things. But the other thing, and I could go on and on about this, so I'll just try to make this short and sweet, but you're right. We view work as something to be avoided. And I want people to be building financial independence so they can pursue what is most meaningful in their life, not so they can quit their job.
Mm-hmm.
Work is worship. And real quick, just in Colossians 3, it talks about doing your work heartily as unto the Lord, not as to men. That was written to slaves. He was actually referencing people in servitude who had no choice in the type of work that they were doing. And if a slave can worship God in their work, they have no control who they're working for, the type of work they're doing, then you and I, who actually get to choose our jobs, choose our employers, choose our careers, at least to some degree, oh my goodness, the opportunity we have to worship God in the way we work is boundless. And I mean, we could do a whole episode just on that.
Well, maybe we will. Maybe we'll get back and do this again sometime. I wanted